Seventh Constitutional Amendment Bill has been tabled in the Senate of Pakistan this after receiving approval from the Federal Cabinet. According to the proposed changes, the title of Field Marshal will remain an honorary and lifelong distinction. The President, on the advice of the Prime Minister, shall appoint the Chief of the Army Staff, the Chief of the Naval Staff and Chief of the Air Staff. The office of the Chairman Joint Chiefs of Staff Committee will be abolished. So that's a big development coming in. Remember, the 27th Constitutional Amendment will now, if brought into force, change the entire politics of Pakistan, where you will now see hybrid government between the federal and the army. But we are also expecting opposition to raise its voice against this 27th Amendment. But let's quickly listen into a reaction that's also come in.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 है जी. 5 कहती है notwithstanding anything contained in clause 4, the office of Chairman Joint Chief of Staff Committee shall stand abolished with effect from 27th day of November 2025. जो मौजूदा चेयरमैन जॉइंट चीफ ऑफ स्टाफ कमेटी हैं सर, वो भी हमारे कौमी हीरो हैं. उनके मुद्दत मुलाजमत जब उन्होंने वो अपॉइंटमेंट उनकी ख़त्म होगी, उसके बाद सर ये अहदा अबॉलिश होगा. उनके करेंसी ऑफ पीरियड में सर पार्लियामान ये सोच भी नहीं सकती कि उन्हें उस अहदे से हम महरूम करें. लेकिन इसके बाद नई तकर्री नहीं होगी, क्योंकि हमने चीफ ऑफ आर्मी स्टाफ जो हैं उन्हीं को चीफ ऑफ डिफेंस फोर्सेस की जिम्मेदारी सौंपनी है. ये तजवीज़ है.
All right, let's quickly go across to Akash, who will shed more light to us. So, Akash, what is it that you're learning in terms of how the opposition wants to take this forward? Because we've heard that whether it is Imran Khan's party or, say, the other opposition parties, they are all asking for this draft of the 27th Amendment. What is it that you're learning so far of the reactions coming in from the other side?
Right. So, Akanksha, you see, this is the 27th Constitutional Amendment Bill in the, Federal Cabinet of Pakistan, which we are learning that has been approved, in fact. And this is somewhere aiming to redefine the military appointments. And we were learning, in fact, hearing this soundbite where they are talking about the new structure, how the chairman post of the Joint Chief of Staff Committee, that is CJSC, SCS in Pakistan, has been abolished, and how the Chief of Army Staff will also serve as Chief of Defense Forces. This, in fact, has been brought to us by our investigation editor, Manoj Gupta, where he is telling us that how, they have made several changes. In fact, these changes were proposed, and now, Pakistan's federal cabinet has, in fact, approved the bill, and these changes will be implemented. Now, we know that how during Operation Sindoor and after Operation Sindoor, General Asim Munir was promoted to the position of Field Marshal. And, possibly there are theories that all of these changes are to accommodate his demands or his requirements. And we are learning that, through these amendments, the rank of Field Marshal, may be granted, as an honorary rank, which will remain for the lifetime. And after the retirement, for example, if an officer is serving on this particular post and while he's, completing his tenure, then the government will decide as to what will be his work. And, it will be a permanent appointment. We all know that how it is. It has been a permanent appointment. But now it will be like the government that will decide as to what will be the kind of work that will be given to them. The role, I should say the post-retirement role. Also, the sort of duties, privileges and responsibilities under the law will be decided by, the government. Also, this bill is proposing, increase in number of advisors, where the Prime Minister's advisors, that were 5, will be increased to 7. And, all of this has been, in fact, was, presented as an amendment and has been approved. And
Okay.
Manoj Gupta has been reporting.
All right, many thanks to you, Akash, for bringing us all those inputs on that story brought to us by our securities editor, Manoj Gupta. Let's quickly get in some guest perspective as well. And for that, I'm joined in by Major General A.K. Sivach, who's a defense expert. Major General Sivach, thank you for joining in. Quickly, to bring you in, it says that the title of Field Marshal would remain an honorary lifelong distinction. And once the completion of the term of his command under the law, the federal government shall determine the responsibilities and duties of the Field Marshal. I want to quickly bring you in on this particular aspect mentioned in the bill. What does that go on to indicate about the unbridled powers so far that were being discussed for the Field Marshal?
You know, 2-3 issues stand out as far as this amendment of Constitution is concerned, the 27th Amendment, which has been already approved by the Senate possibly. Now, 3 things stand out. One is that the Chief of Army Staff will be also concurrently Chief of Defence Staff. It means the Navy, Air Force Army Chief will also responsible to him, and they will be answerable and responsive to him. The second issue is that Field Marshal rank remain throughout the life, and it will enjoy the legal and political immunity. As far as what will be the duties of a Field Marshal after retirement, this will be honorary rank thereafter, will be decided by a government of Pakistan. But 3 things stand out very clearly. One is the absolute power which they have now given to the defense forces. As it is, one should remember that in Pakistan, the actual power does not flow from Islamabad but flows from Rawalpindi. If you remember that, as far as Pakistan Army concerned, it is the one which decides the foreign as well as the defense matter. And they also run a parallel economy because they are running a Fuji Foundation which has a budget of $100 billion. So cement to Colgate and real estate to banks are run by them. But in addition to this, now this absolute power which has been given to the Field Marshal, and now they have also abolished chairman of Joint Staff Committee. So Field Marshal, the Chief of Defence Staff and the Chief of Army Staff, which will be held by one person in the rank of Field Marshal, he will enjoy absolute power, and you will find it that the Prime Minister and the President will become subservient to him, and he will decide all and every matter regarding to defence and also as far as the defence forces are concerned. So this was what we were also contemplating, that Pakistan is as it is a military state because the power rests more with the military than the civilian force. But now they have legalized it, and that is what it makes a difference. It is a military autocracy which will prevail now. And, another very important thing which has happened is that their strategic command, in the sense, National Strategic Command, which also controls the nuclear weapons. That will be controlled by the defense forces under the CDS, not by the civil authority. Now, this is very dangerous.
And what's very interesting is that if the federal government will be determining the responsibilities and duties of the Field Marshal once he completes his term, we all know what the federal government is capable of and who is controlling the federal government in Pakistan at the moment. I'm afraid, Major General Sivash, we'll have to leave it at that. The days ahead are going to be extremely interesting for the polity of Pakistan and for its neighbor India as well.